My name is Rachel Doyle. I'm 32 years old, and the last thing my mother said before she closed the front door on me was, "You always come back because you have nowhere else to go."
She smiled when she said it.
Not an angry smile, not even a cruel one. Just the kind of smile people wear when they're absolutely certain they're right. 5 minutes later, I was sitting inside my car with the heater barely working, watching the porch light through the windshield while snow covered the driveway. I thought I had lost everything. I hadn't. By sunrise the next morning, I would discover something my grandfather had hidden years before. And by the end of that week, my mother would realize the one daughter she spent her life underestimating was the only person standing between her and complete financial ruin. My name is Rachel Doyle. This is the story of the winter my family threw me away and accidentally handed me the truth. I became an emergency room nurse because emergencies make sense to me. People arrive hurting. You work the problem. You stabilize what you can.
You move on to the next patient.
Families don't work like that. Families leave wounds open for years. I'd moved back to my hometown only 2 months earlier after accepting a position at County Memorial Hospital. The apartment I wanted wasn't available until February. My parents offered my old bedroom for a little while. Looking back, it wasn't really an offer. It was a countdown. My mother, Sharon Doyle, reminded me almost every day that I was only a guest. Not because I wasn't paying. I offered money every week. She refused it every time. Then she complained to everyone that I lived there for free. My younger brother Cody never heard those comments. He was 28, between jobs again, living exactly the way he'd lived at 22. Our mother called him finding himself. She called me temporarily struggling. The words were different. The meaning wasn't. One evening after work, I brought home groceries. Milk,
Bread, coffee,
fresh vegetables. I unloaded everything onto the kitchen counter. Mom looked at the bags. "You didn't have to waste your money." I wanted to help. She laughed softly. "Rachel, you've never been good with money." That surprised me. I'd spent 10 years paying my own bills. I had excellent credit. No late payments. Retirement savings. An emergency fund. Meanwhile, Cody still borrowed gas money every month. Yet somehow, I was the irresponsible one. That conversation stayed with me longer than it should have, because it wasn't about groceries. It was about rewriting reality until everyone believed it, including me. 3 days later, I came home from a 12-hour shift. My bedroom door was open. Boxes sat on the floor. Half my clothes were folded inside them. What happened? Mom didn't even look up from the television. "Cody and Belle need more closet space." "My room, our house." She corrected me without emotion. "You'll only be here another few weeks." I carried the boxes back inside my room. Not because I wanted to fight, because I wanted peace. That's the dangerous thing about peaceful people. Everyone mistakes patience for permission. My grandfather Leo Marsh never made that mistake. Pop Leo used to tell me, "People show you who they are long before they tell you." When I graduated high school, he gave me a worn leather wallet. Inside was an old debit card. "My gift isn't for today," he whispered. "It's for the day everyone else disappoints you." At 18, I laughed. At 32, I still carry that card without really knowing why. Christmas arrived colder than anyone expected. The house filled with relatives. Laughter echoed through every room. My aunt hugged Cody for finally getting his life together.
Nobody asked about my job.
Nobody asked about the overnight shifts. Nobody asked whether I'd slept. Halfway through dinner, Mom raised her glass. "I'm grateful Cody finally has a future." Everyone applauded. She glanced toward me. "And Rachel, well, she'll figure something out." People laughed politely. I smiled. Sometimes smiling is easier than explaining years of disappointment. After dessert, Mom asked me to help in the kitchen. The dishes weren't why she called me. She stood beside the sink. "Cody and Belle are moving in tomorrow." "I know. So, you'll need to leave tonight."
Ist sehr daher.
"Tonight? They need your room." "My apartment isn't ready." "You'll manage." "I have work tomorrow." "You always manage." I looked toward the dining room. Dad avoided my eyes. Cody suddenly found his phone fascinating. Nobody spoke. The silence told me everything. This wasn't a decision. It had already happened. I packed one overnight bag. Before I reached the hallway, Mom stopped me. "Leave the suitcase.
What?
You'll get the rest later." I looked down. Everything I owned stayed upstairs. Everything except my purse, my winter coat, my car keys. The front door opened. Cold air rushed inside. "You'll thank us someday," Mom said. Then she closed the door. The lock clicked. For the first time in years, I stopped trying to earn my place inside that house. I drove away, not knowing the only thing I'd taken with me was the one thing my grandfather always hoped I'd never lose. Rachel quietly asks the bank manager for every transaction connected to the account. The records reveal years of transfers into Sharon Doyle's personal account while Rachel believed the money no longer existed. Joan explains that because Rachel is the legal account holder, the bank can provide certified statements. Rachel leaves without confronting anyone. Instead, she visits an attorney named Michael Grant. After reviewing the records, he tells her the withdrawals may involve misuse of authority and possible fraud. He advises Rachel to collect every document before speaking to her family. Rachel returns to work at the hospital, acting as though nothing happened. Meanwhile, her mother and Cody continue preparing Cody's new apartment using money Rachel now suspects came from her grandfather's account. Rachel begins gathering proof. Grandfather Leo's old letters, estate records, bank statements, property documents. Then she discovers something unexpected. Grandfather Leo had written a second letter that was never delivered. In it, he explains why Rachel received the account and warns her never to let anyone pressure her into giving it away. The attorney files legal requests to freeze further withdrawals. A week later, Sharon receives notice from the bank. For the first time, Rachel's mother realizes Rachel knows everything. Sharon demands Rachel come home for a family discussion. Rachel arrives with attorney Michael Grant. The conversation changes immediately when certified bank records are placed on the dining table. Every withdrawal, every transfer, every signature, every dollar. Cody insists he never knew where the money came from. Rachel doesn't argue. She simply slides Grandfather Leo's handwritten letter across the table. The room falls silent. Michael explains that Sharon may be legally responsible for every unauthorized transfer. Sharon breaks down, admitting she believed the money belonged to the family and used it to rescue Cody from debts over the years. Rachel calmly responds, "Grandpa didn't save that money for the family. He saved it for me." A settlement is reached. Sharon agrees to sell investments and refinance her home to repay Rachel. Cody apologizes for benefiting from money that was never his. Rachel doesn't celebrate. She rents her own apartment, moves out permanently, and returns to the hospital. Months later, she visits Grandfather Leo's grave. She places the old debit card beside fresh flowers. "I finally used your gift the way you wanted," she whispers. Not because of the money, but because it finally gave her the courage to stop carrying people who never carried her. Sometimes the greatest inheritance isn't what's left in a bank account. It's learning exactly when to walk away.